Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. We're actually on a roll here. We had a little bit of hiatus. We seem to be getting back in the groove. Very happy to be here. I'm Anthony Fortner, data engineer. What I hope is above me is
Oh
Lee
God,
Markham,
yeah.
database extraordinaire.
We had to we
What
had
I
to
hope
make
is
some
to my
adjustments, but
other left
I'm on this side.
is O'Grady. Which way? This way?
Nope.
Anyway, whatever.
Windows side.
Software engineer, Windows side. Okay. And we have a guest on here, our scaled friend BroFish. How we doing?
Hiya. I'm doing
Should
great. How
we
about
talk
you
about-
guys?
I don't know if we have a shout out
We're
command
good.
yet, and I totally forgot about that. But this is BroFish from BroFish TV, so please go follow her along with us, because she's awesome.
Yeah, you could do that now. We'll wait. That's okay.
I'm gonna throw a there. Okay.
That's me.
Nice.
So yeah, first guest. Thank
Hi.
you for joining us.
Wait, I'm the first?
You're our first guest.
You are.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I made a 4-person layout just for you. So now
Oh,
we
I'm
can-
Just for
honored.
this.
And yeah, so we're gonna today talk about some kind of the streaming technologies that Fish uses, and kind of get into, I don't know, some things that people don't think about that streamers do that kind of make them their own IT department. So I know that we've talked about stuff like this in the past, troubleshooting and that kind of stuff. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about.
hmm
So yeah, we'll start off just if you want to give a little bit about yourself and kind of about your stream and what people would expect if they go over there. If you
Okay,
don't mind.
so I've been streaming now for just over 6 years. I initially started streaming part-time on Twitch. And then after about 2 years, I switched to a platform called Mixer, which sadly isn't around anymore. It shut down about 2 years ago. But I started streaming mostly with Destiny and other FPSs, did a little bit of variety. And then when I came back to Twitch, I streamed Destiny for a little bit longer. And then eventually I went variety after I got Twitch partner. And I've been streaming mostly Final Fantasy 14 with a focus on other JRPGs, probably for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. And I did full-time streaming for about 3 years, meaning it was my only income and I was completely paying all of my bills doing streaming. Now I'm back to more part-time hobby streaming as I work full-time at a medical office. So I've kind of been in and out of the part-time, full-time streaming over the last 6 years. Had a very varied journey with all of it. But my community is very chill, very cozy. A lot of like chaotic gremlin energy, bad puns, big nerdiness, and just
Hey.
me making an absolute dork of myself on a daily basis. So
I already have questions.
All the expected
Yeah.
things, so that's completely fine. Great, yeah. Her community is awesome. I think we have a couple of them in here today. I know I saw Zod, but definitely go check out her channel, her Discord, and hang out with them. I hang out, like I said, we were talking before stream, that Fish is usually in my bottom corner while I'm working, so that I can have some background noise and learn stuff about games that I don't play a lot of times.
we're gonna
A lot of
get you
times
to
getting
play
me
Final
into it.
Fantasy 14 though. Don't you worry. It's gonna happen.
It'll happen. I just
It's
have
gonna
to
happen.
carve out a little bit of time.
It does have this wonderful free trial up to level 60, including the award-winning expansion Heaven's Ward.
I feel like I've heard that
No
before.
restrictions on playtime,
Yeah.
all that good.
Zod, he's gonna.
Zod resisted a year ago. A year ago,
Yeah,
Zod didn't want to play
I
Final
remember.
Fantasy 14 at all.
Mm-hmm.
And now
I
look at
remember.
him. He's addicted.
Most of that word, yes.
That's my fault.
So
Oh.
that being said, no, I'm just joking. So I mean, you told us about yourself, but obviously something's a little different compared to the rest of the people here.
Yeah.
You're a VTuber. This is
I am.
a lot of the people I feel like watching our kind of channel may not have as much access or exposure to VTubing or a lot of times even video game streaming, just because
Mhm.
our industry is so diverse as far as what everybody does. So tell us a little about the VTube and kind of what got you into it, kind of what how's it work, and pros and cons of it if you feel.
Yeah, absolutely. So VTubing stands for virtual YouTubing, or virtual YouTuber. And so basically how it works is you commission an artist and they make you a model, and then they use 3D modeling and 2D modeling tools to rig the actual VTuber so that it works in conjunction with your web camera and it physically motion tracks. You know how they do CGI in movies where they track
Yeah.
actors and things in animated movies? They put the dots on your face. They do all of that kind of motion tracking. This is rigged so that I don't need dots on my face. I don't need any of that other CGI technology. It just goes straight off of my camera. So I can be not talking, like I can be not verbalizing, and just opening my mouth
And it knows.
will make her talk. And so I
Well,
do have to enunciate my words a little bit more than I normally would when I'm not VTubing, because I have to make sure that the motions of my mouth are a little bit more clear. Otherwise, she doesn't pick them up. I also
Sense.
have keyed in expressions. So I have different ones that are, hardwired into the actual the rigging itself for if I need to convey certain emotions, if I need to get sad, or if
yeah, I
there's
saw you
really
blush
sad.
earlier.
Yeah, I was, just a little bit
Wait,
embarrassed.
wait.
It's fine, So it's all coded in. And then obviously, like I was telling you guys earlier, I've learned over time, like I've been doing this now for about 3 months. So I've learned a few things that I can do in terms of actually like forcing her to make certain expressions like this. Like I can make her upset and cranky, by manipulating the capture basically into thinking that it's lost, or
Oh, okay.
like pointing my eyes downwards and then making them, like, I guess, almost glitch out. So you learn a lot of kind of tricks of the trade when you're VTubing, because you learn how the motion capture behaves. And so the benefit to VTubing is obviously you don't have to care about what you look like off stream. Obviously when you're a streamer, people are interesting sometimes. They'll comment on your appearance, they'll comment on if you look tired, if you look sad, if maybe didn't choose to wear makeup that day. You get asked, especially I feel like as a female streamer, we get asked, why didn't you put makeup on? Do you look sick? Are you tired? Is something wrong? Why do you look sad? Um, and so that's the benefit, I think, to the VTubing is like it doesn't matter what I look like on any given day because I'm always going to look like this. And so there's not the worry of, you know, worrying about, are you camera ready? And usually when I did get camera ready, when I stream with a face cam, it does require quite a lot of makeup, not because I necessarily need it, but because the camera is lit in such a way where if you don't have sort of camera ready makeup on, your face does get kind of washed out or flushed out. And you kind of have to do makeup a little more dramatically for a camera than you would normally do it in real life. So it generally requires a lot of extra preparation. And so then you're thinking about extra prep in terms of, trying to present your best face for the camera. And so you have to factor in that time when you're getting ready for streaming as well. And so the VTuber kind of takes that prep out of it. Obviously the downside is depending on the quality of your VTuber, depending on how much you spend on it, bearing in mind that the cost of a VTuber is not cheap. My model itself was about $750 when it was all said and done to commission and have it rigged and have all the assets sent over and everything.
Wow, it's quite an
So
investment.
And that's honestly on the cheaper side of VTubing. I know VTubers who have spent 2 grand, 4 grand, 10 grand even on VTuber avatars, depending on what they want from a realistic standpoint. There are VTubers that go up into the tens of thousands of dollars, depending on complexity and depending on if you want different outfits or if you want different hairstyles or different other expressions, things like that. So the cost of VTubing can range from moderately expensive to completely astronomically expensive.
Yeah.
And obviously depending on, like, you get what you pay for with VTubing too. So if you don't necessarily get the best VTuber, you're not going to have the best expressiveness, or maybe your VTuber tracking isn't as good.
So
And
I
I
have
think the other
seen
thing too is it's
like
hard.
2D.
Yeah. So mine's considered a 2D actually.
Well, I guess I'm where they don't turn at all. Like I've seen that
Oh,
type where it's just like a
you're
picture
thinking
almost.
you're thinking a PNG tuber.
Is that what is that a whole
So
separate?
so PNG tubers are different. PNG tubers are where it's a picture that lights up, or it's a picture that the mouth moves, but it's not actually tracked on an extensive level like a VTuber is.
Okay.
So there's PNG tubers, there's 2D VTubers, and then there's what's called 3D VTubers. And 3D VTubers are like me, but they look more three-dimensional and realistic. And there's a great VTuber that's a good example of this. Her name's Reika Nya, and she also streams Final Fantasy 14. And she's what we would call a 3D VTuber because hers is more shaded and shadowed and more, I guess, on the realism side.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like myself or another Final Fantasy 14 VTuber named Spofi, like, we're more 2D VTubers. So there's a lot of range too with VTubing and what people can have. And again, another drawback is sometimes you miss out on like the actual ridiculous faces that I make because the VTuber doesn't really emphasize sometimes just how ridiculous my face is when I'm gaming. Which
some of the
Brady's probably
subtleties.
seen recently with Monster Hunter and all the weird faces I've made while playing Monster Hunter with a face cam on, because I'm making weird faces right now that she's not even picking up. My eyebrows are raised to my top of my forehead right now. Like, but so you have to kind of, you really have to kind of project what your expressions are in a way that goes beyond what the VTuber is capable of in a way to make it a compelling performance. And so that's something I've been learning over the past 3 months, and it's a process. The other downside is sometimes the tracking, it'll hitch like that and it'll get lost. Or when I try to drink out of a cup, which you'll probably see over the course of the podcast because I'm currently drinking some Focus and I'm thirsty. But when I drink, she tends to lose the tracking a little bit because I have to lean back to take a drink, and it's like,
pass it out.
so that's the downside, you know?
Yeah.
And she does rather lean back and be like, "Oh, we're drinking water. All right, we're good."
So you do get to save some. I would say save some money on your backgrounds, and you're like a lot. I know a lot of streamers have a very RGB style setup. It's very camera ready background.
Oh yeah, and I mean, which I have because you've seen my background before I started VTubing, so you know full well that my background, like my actual background, is covered in collectibles and Pokemon stuff, and my office is very well made up.
Yes.
From when I used to not be a VTuber, so you do spend a lot of time in your background because, especially if you're on camera, I find having a neat, tidy, eye-catching background that makes your setup pop
like Anthony
is
Don't look.
yeah,
No.
is it's a big part of it. And
I just keep
I mean,
a cat
people
in mind,
are
so we don't have to...
people are really, it depends too on the type of viewer, but some viewers are very into like the cozy kind of like like pastel kind of background where you have like a cozy chair and a blanket, and others are really into like the RGB den style background, or there's lots of different types of backgrounds too that people are kind of into depending on the atmosphere of the stream they're looking for. Or you have newly returned Twitch streamers like King Gathalion who have the entire garage made into a speakeasy, which is his entire streaming setup. So there's such a wide variety of setups, So,
and I mean, Anthony, to be fair though, his background is mostly games, so it's a gaming background, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a gaming
True.
background.
It fits. It's just
I
board
mean,
games.
board games, nerdy books, Magic the Gathering, Legos, and
Yeah.
of course my Zelda hat. Like so I'm
Yeah, it
represented.
totally all fits. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fits
I
more in
get it. I
mine,
mean, I've
yeah.
got Pokemon cards littered in my. I've just got Elite Trainer boxes to stack to the ceiling back here, so I get it.
So what I'm hearing is that I wasted the 10 minutes to put up the pictures.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're lovely. I was gonna say
No,
I actually really like the photos.
Cool.
I like
I think
the
you have the best
minimalistic,
background here.
Just
Yeah, I mean, I really
Sorry,
like the
Rachel.
picture on the left. I like the trees and the ice there. I think that's what it is.
ice, river,
I thought it was
something.
mist.
Or is it mist? It's hard to see.
I think it's
hard to
mist
see.
at the next to the ocean. Yeah.
Well, let's
Yeah.
say it's the
The
mist
only
of
thing-
Pandaria.
And the only thing it's missing, is Uguay, Master Uguay.
You're gonna
Oh,
talk
there you
about World of Warcraft in my presence.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the mists. Yeah.
So
No,
you
I
threw a word. You threw some words at me earlier that I didn't get to ask about. So
Oh, yeah.
if I may,
Absolutely.
first, of course, I'm sure everyone in chat's wanting to ask this and they're afraid to. Goblin energy, is that a drink? Do I? Is that a can?
Oh,
keep awake?
gremlin
What's
energy.
goblin energy? Oh, gremlin energy.
Gremlin
Gremlin
energy.
energy.
Yeah, so gremlin energy. So I also have a character in Final Fantasy that is a Lalafell. So Lalafels are another race in Final Fantasy 14, which are I guess kind of like dwarves. They're gnomes, but they're more humanoid looking. And so
Dwarves are humanoid looking.
yeah, so I can
People
I
here.
can find a picture, like if I don't know if you have a moment to Google, but if you Google Lalafels from Final Fantasy, it's Lalafel. Or it might be two L's, but so they're just I guess they're just smaller human beings. And so I have
Aw.
another character
Just,
that looks
just like fish.
that looks just like this, but she's a Lalafell instead. So it's basically this character without the horns, but with the same hair and the same outfit.
They're little anthropomorphic dolls.
Yeah. So
What is
But
their
not like Chucky.
what is their height
but less-
considered?
but less-
Or do they have that?
I think Lalafels range from like 2'5" to probably 3 feet tall. Whereas like my aura, like the character that I am right now, max height for female auras is 5'2". So my character is
still-
canonically is my real height, and
Yep.
she's actually my height at 5'2", and that's the highest height that my character's race can be as a female aura. But anyway, the chaotic gremlin energy kind of stemmed from the fact that as I've started playing on my Lalafell character, I've started kind of squealing a little bit more and kind of just getting into like running around and causing a lot of mischief and yoinking loot and running around like mine, this is mine, everything's mine, like and I think too, with it also being the VTuber, I think when you're not on camera, there's a certain feeling of I'm less self-conscious about the weird noises or things that I might
Like wearing a
say.
mask. It's like what wearing a mask does. You know. it
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
gives
And
you
so
more
like
freedom.
I'm less concerned about letting out my inner like gremlin, I guess. So I just get more animated and I say dumber things and I just like I'm less afraid to just say what I'm thinking, even if it's weird. Like I guess less so now that I'm behind a character rather than being me. And I think part of that comes from the fact that when you see yourself doing and saying these things, you get self-conscious and you feel a little cringy. Like I'm very critical of myself and who I am. And so when I see her doing it, it doesn't make me feel as weird. So I think it's kind of brought out like the truest part of myself where like I'm more energetic and I'm just more open. And so I call it chaotic gremlin energy just because it's like this is the side of me that people normally don't get to see or the side of me that happens when you try and feed me after midnight, like I'm
Smart
just
wife.
I'm just more open and crazier and more me. So
I
yeah.
like how Zod put it there. It's like a toddler that's in their 20s.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's essentially what happens when I play on my Lalafell. And I mean, you can ask Zod, like, he can 100% attest that there's a different way that I kind of talk and behave when I'm playing on my Lalafell character because I'm running around as this little toddler-sized character, and that every time, like, I'm running around following his bunny girl character around, I unconsciously, like, my voice gets higher, and I start to, like, talk in more of, like, a childish way without really thinking about it.
You're in
And
character.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
it really, like, my Lalafell has become, like, this, like, I guess almost the more playful version of me that I just am not afraid to kinda, like,
The
let out.
more comfortable version.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas,
we
like,
all
my Aura
definitely.
character is, like, the serious version of me that wants to get hardcore raiding done, and she wants to do all these ultimates, and she wants to do all of this, like, battle content. And my Lalafell has become my fisher, my gatherer, occasional raider, but with much chaotic energy. So
One's
it's
friendlier, one's the murder hobo.
yeah, and
One's
I
the
mean, I
veteran.
just recently made a third character that's a cat girl, so we'll see how her energy develops as we go through the story. So,
Don't tell comfy.
we'll see how it goes.
Don't tell
So,
comfy.
yeah.
So what kind of process did you go through to find somebody who would make an image for you and do the technical work for what we see on the screen?
So, honestly, it started with a lot of searching on Twitter. I was initially inspired again by a Final Fantasy YouTuber, VTuber actually by the name of Spofi. And she's a Lalafell VTuber. So her character is based off of her Lalafell from the game. So it's based off of the character that she plays. And I had been watching her for a long time, and I was like, you know what? She seems like she's really cozy and really comfy, and it seems like this is kind of bringing out the best in her. And I was, really excited, and um, it kind of seemed like a really cool idea at the time. And so after that, I kind of got inspired, and I started kind of looking around at the VTuber space, and I was like, who else is doing this? What is the
Yeah.
process? What artists are doing VTubing? And so a lot of it was just me kind of looking on Twitter and seeing whose commissions were open, what their rates were, what their style was, what their terms of service were. So like what their contracts allowed for, what were their policies on like um, using VTubers for merchandise or things or
Right. Okay.
because every VTuber has their own contract. Like, this is your model. This is what you're allowed to use it for. Um, ultimately, I just went with one for use on my stream. But you look around for budget. Like, what's your budget? What are you able to do? And then you want to find a style that works for you. And so I was browsing Twitter, mid in late March, early April, and I came across a VTuber artist named Momo Shelley. And I looked at her style and it seemed like something I was really interested in. I'd seen the preview videos. The other thing you want to look at is can you see previews of what their tracking looks like? What does their rigging look like? A lot of times you'll see like VTuber artists that do art but don't also do rigging on top of it. So then you not only have to find an artist, but you also have to pay a separate person to rig it. Whereas with
Oh,
my
wow.
artist, she was willing to do both the art and the rigging. So it was all in one, which again
Nice.
was another reason to go with her because it was the whole process all in one. You're also able to get either a waist up or a legs up. Mine's actually a waist up, as you can see if I zoom out here. So mine
You
actually
have
goes
no
all the way down to
legs,
the waist. Yeah, I have
Lieutenant
no
No tail
legs.
Dan.
either.
I
Where's the
have no
tail?
legs. Yeah, no tail, no legs. Because it is more costly to get from the feet up. So it was almost twice as much to get the feet and everything. And I show about this much on stream, so I was like, I don't need more than just the waist up. So went with that ultimately, and sent her an initial sketch, asked if she had a commission slot open, and she asked if I was okay with the rates and everything and what I was looking for, how many expressions I wanted. And so we went through and we picked out different expressions. I listed to her what kind of ones I wanted. Um, and then um, she asked for a reference photo of my character, and the one I posted in general actually is the reference photo that I sent to her. It's one of the reference photos I sent to her. So I sent her a front view, a side view, and a back view, so that she would be able to see from all angles. And so that is actually the one that I posted in the general chat. Um,
Right.
and then she started asking other questions. Like, she wanted to know specifically, like, what skin color do you want? What exact color are the eyes? She actually asked something I wasn't like expecting her to ask, which was, do you want the horns to move, or are they supposed to be solid? And so obviously, like, some artists wouldn't even think to ask that. And of course they are solid because they are horns. Um, so I was happy that she really did her due diligence, and she really asked and made sure that, like, everything that I wanted was there. And the other thing that you might notice with this VTuber is if I try to stay really still, you'll notice that her shoulders and chest are actually expanding like
Hmm.
she's breathing.
Oh, wow.
Nice detail.
I see that now. Okay.
Yeah, so she breathes too. Like, she breathes, she inhales and exhales too. And she obviously, like, me blinking right now, this is me blinking. So whenever I blink, she blinks.
I was gonna ask that if it was actually tracking the blinking or if it was like
Oh
a
yeah, no. I just blink a lot. But yeah, no, she blinks with me. So
If not, I
can-
was wondering why it randomly
can-
like only has one eye
Yeah.
blinking.
yeah, I can close one eye.
wow.
Yeah.
So
And
it has
sometimes if I
really
if I go too far this way, obviously one eye tries to close, but that's just because that eye has gone off of the tracking.
or
if it's
fish has
because
been
if-
drinking too much. One of the
Yeah, or
other.
I've been drinking too much. But yeah, if I go too far to one side, it loses the tracking of one eye, which is why it closes it. And so obviously I can sit here with my eyes closed too, and she'll do that. She'll keep her eyes closed as I'm talking, because obviously my eyes aren't open, and because the camera's tracking my movements and it's tracking my expressions, it knows that my eyes are closed. So
And what
um,
was the like? What's the setup like when they come in? You said they had to adjust you your rig that rig you up for this. What's the kind of process to that?
that I
general.
honestly don't know a lot about, because, like,
Or I guess what
that's
did they
why
make
I
you
ended
do
up paying.
at least?
So what they made me do, honestly, was just provide feedback and, let her know, like, is this what you want? Is everything moving okay? Is there anything you would change? She initially had more boob physics, but I ended up turning that off just because I didn't
As one
really
does.
want that. Just because it wasn't really something that I wanted. Like, I'm not
It's
like
not really your.
I'm not a
stream type.
boobalicious person in real life. So, like, I didn't want my character to have more boobs than I did, because, like, my character in game, but no, my character in game doesn't have boobs. So the VTuber herself actually had more of that going on than my character. So
That's
I
an
just
important
wanted
point.
I just
Yeah.
wanted them to be the same, Like,
Your
I just
character's a
wanted
reptile, right?
Yeah, I just wanted them to match. So
Yeah, no, and some channels, and nothing against any channel out there.
yeah, like, if it
that
matches,
is their
it matches.
thing. Mm-hmm.
It's just that my character in Final Fantasy didn't have boobs, so it
Yep.
didn't make sense for my VTuber to have boob physics. So it was just that was the only thing that I
I mean,
ended up
I would have opted
not
for it if I do it,
I mean, don't get me wrong, we
but I have to
definitely
have the
play
beard. And
yeah,
I don't know how to play out.
we definitely
Beard
played
physics.
around.
You need
We
beard
definitely
physics.
had an experimental period where we did turn the physics up to 100 to see what it looked like. So we had our
As one
laughs,
would.
like,
Yeah.
we
Was
did.
that a
We did.
stream or asking for a friend?
Was that what? No, it wasn't
that a stream?
streamed. It wasn't streamed, but it was shown to a few friends for some laughs. I think
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
Did I
see
show
that.
you, Grady?
I don't. You might have.
I
That
don't
was a
know. I
while.
don't remember. I know I showed some of my other Final Fantasy, like, guild mates. But yeah,
I'd
so
have to
it was
tie
just
in beard physics though.
that was
Like
a part
watching
of
the
it. Yeah,
hair.
you would
on yours.
absolutely have to have beard physics. Yeah, so you can see my hair moves as well, and it flaps, and
I think that's part of the thing that sells it is that the moving hair is just kind of a constant as you turn it. It really, because even if you're staying still,
Yeah, the
hair's kinda
hair's
still
always
moving.
going, you know?
Yeah,
So
no,
can
it's
you have it attached to any other things like
Oh, yes! I'm so
hypothetically,
glad you
like
asked.
when you get hit by like I'm imagining like he's mentioned beard physics. You're in game and you get hit. Imagine him going, his beard goes out, or like when you're playing a
Oh,
game and you get hurt, you know?
well, I mean, like, I can emote and, like, stuff, but there's also so I can show you some of the other things that we can do with it.
I like
So
how you
where
looked at the icons when they came up.
yeah, so well, that's because 'cause I'm looking at them on my screen, so
Right,
that's
but
why
still, it's perfect.
yeah, so what I can do is I can actually add different, like, visual things. So I actually have some hotkeys for this. So, where is it? Hang on. It's gonna work. Why is it not, I should have hotkeys for these things. Is my numlock not on? That would do it. So I have different ones that I have specific hotkeys that are items that are keyed to me. So this is the Final Fantasy Mentor Crown, as well as the title The Ultimate Legend, which is gotten from beating one of the 4 ultimate raids in Final Fantasy 14, so they're the hardest difficulty raids. My character has both of these things in game. They've also become a meme where if you're a mentor and you have a legend title and you die in content of any kind, especially when you die in stuff that's easier, people tend to make fun of you and go, "Oh, ultimate legend, by the way." So I have this for when I die in really stupid ways, so that when I die in stupid ways, I can just be like, "Ultimate legend, by the way." Hey,
That's great.
that's embarrassing. Guys, did I die like that? That's really embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Don't look at me.
it's like
Nice.
And
whenever,
obviously you have
when Lee
others.
messes
Like I
up
have
and
this. This is my I'm playing Fortnite
oh, yes.
skin.
Dr.
The
Seven.
sister surgeon. So,
We couldn't afford the rights to Dr. Pepper, so
fair.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the sunglasses from the 80s. I love that.
Yeah, it's great. And so you can also do other ones too. So there's other items. Like if I want, I can actually add head pats. So I can actually add a head that just a hand that just gives me head pats because sometimes you just
Is that for the
sometimes
cat version or
That's
well
great.
I don't have one for a cat, but some VTubers have it as like a channel point reward where for a certain number of channel points you can give the streamer head pats. So yeah.
This is giving me so many ideas because
So and then if I need to
uh
get rid of it, I just throw it in the trash can over there.
Oh, cool.
And I can
nice.
grab other ones.
imagine thing?
There are also these really great ones that are a little cozier. So like I can have like a blankie if I want, if I'm like trying to have a cozier day. So like if I'm not feeling well or I'm just looking to like chill, I can have my cozy blankie and throw that in there. And then we also have this is just the calibration stuff again. Um then you can also have there's really great holiday themed ones. So obviously there's more Christmassy things. So I can add like a headband with antlers on it for Christmas. And there's also Christmas lights. So and you can
It
take
tracks. You just throw it on you,
yeah, and it
your
attaches to
image.
me as you can see. So as I move my head, um the item itself actually moves with me. Well, sometimes you have to really get the positioning of it right so that it doesn't like go wonky. So it does take a little bit of experimentation to figure out like exactly where the ideal tracking. See, there you go. Where the ideal tracking for things is. So that's another thing that you kind of have to learn as you go through.
A lot of this,
But
I'm
you
sure,
can
comes with just experience
yeah,
and using different things. Like you said, you've been doing this for what,
3
about
months now.
3 months now. So, as
Yeah.
I don't know if you were saying it on streamer before, but yeah, as you do this more, you're going to be getting better
Yeah.
at learning how facial expressions need to be and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you can also add your own personal stuff too. So you can actually take and add anything that you want. Any item that is transparent that you want, you can add. Like I can put just an egg on my head.
You know,
Okay.
sometimes that's a necessity. You need to have an
Roll
egg. on
fish
your
Sometimes-
head.
royale.
Sometimes you just, you feel embarrassed and it's like you got egg on
Maybe-
your face,
Maybe I just cracked a good joke, or cracked a good
Nice.
joke. One or the other.
We got a soundboard.
I'm pretty
That's
sure that's like my
cool.
sound. I don't know.
That's specifically for Grady. I don't
Yeah.
know what you're talking about. I use that every time he's around, at least once a day. It's also
Yeah.
accompanied by the car crash.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
You have to
and that's
work
another
for 'em.
part. That's
but-
another part of my technology, which is my soundboard, my Go XLR, where I can do
Yep.
different voices and things. So
And that
I
that
also have a
brings me
channel
up,
point
'cause
redemption on my stream.
I wanted to get into audio, so
Yeah,
the good transition
Do
here.
it.
yeah.
We run into a lot of audio issues just all the time, and I feel like it's everybody that runs into these audio issues.
100%. If you haven't had audio issues, you haven't been streaming long enough.
Well, I mean, even when I'm, I have this is my work desk, different computers, but even at work in Zoom meetings and for our IT section, you always running into people that are not understanding that they're on the wrong mic or the wrong camera a lot sometimes, or muted.
Yeah, or their mic might be crackly or it doesn't pick up right. And
So yeah,
my
so what kind of
microphone
stuff
is,
do you
is very
recommend for that?
advanced, right? So you
Yeah.
don't have to go for the craziest microphone ever. However, if what you're doing is predominantly audio based, or what you're doing is predominantly to do with your voice or visuals, it all comes down to how high quality do you want your setup to be. And I think especially for podcasting, I think the bare minimum for podcasting is a good microphone that has a good compressor, good noise gate, doesn't pick up a lot of extra noise or makes your voice come through clearly. So my microphone's actually hooked up to a mixer that's called a Go XLR. And you can use USB microphones too. They're starting to get better at making USB microphones that have a lot of these great software things as well. Like the Elgato Wave 3 is a pretty good one. There's other great USB microphones. But when you're looking for super high quality, like XLR microphones, like the Electro Voice RE 55, I think is what I use. The Electro Voice, the EV45 maybe. I can't remember exactly the number, but it is an Electro Voice XLR mic. And my husband actually uses the Shure SM7B, which is pretty much the go-to if you're looking for a podcast microphone. It is the industry standard for what people use for podcast microphones. They are pricey, they do get into the $500 range. And the Go XLR itself that you hook it up to is also another $500, $300 to $500, depending on where you get it from. There's also the Go XLR Mini if you want that, but the Go XLR Mini doesn't come with a lot of features. You can't hit the swear button, you can't be like, you Grady. You can't do things like that. You also can't do the funny voices. So I do a lot of funny voices on my stream too, where I'll have
I can make my voice super high pitched and be like, oh my god, guys, this is so funny. We're gonna play Fortnite because I'm 12 and Fortnite's the newest craze, and you guys want to play Fortnite with me? So you can do that, and then
I also have
I have some other ones. I can be the voice of Trivia Murder Party from the Jackbox games if I want to.
That's
Oh my
what it
god,
sounds
that's
like.
creepy. Stop that.
So
my
yeah, there's that.
there's
There's
also
a channel point redemption on her stream to change
Wow.
her voice, and it's always fun to do it.
Yeah,
What's a
and
channel
guys-
point?
And you guys keep doing it during important story moments in ARR, and it ruins them.
This would be funny to hear in completely different things.
Yeah, so channel points are a currency that is available in any affiliate or partners channel on Twitch. So they are basically a currency that viewers accrue over time just by watching. So I think viewers get on average of 200 channel points per hour watching a stream. And you can spend them on various things, and every streamer has kind of their own, every streamer comes with default channel points that Twitch makes, but you can also configure and make your own, and you can set the cost for them. So one of mine is that I have to put a voice changer on for 10 minutes. So sometimes we'll be in very important story moments. And one of my mods, like say Zod or Drake, will come in and go, "Hey, you should do a voice changer." And I know for a fact that as I'm replaying Final Fantasy XIV for the first time in 3 years, they're gonna wait until some major character dies.
And they're gonna make me have to talk like this. And I'm gonna have to like be very sad and react very emotionally to this character's death. It's gonna be very sad, but I'm gonna be stuck like this. I'm gonna hate them.
So
That's funny.
it's just one of those things that like they're great for content if you're able to use them right and be smart with them. I also have one that's for 100,000 channel points, I think, or 50,000 channel points, which is my character in Final Fantasy is 90 on all classes. So you can pick which job I have to do my dailies on, including the ones I don't like to make me suffer. So I also have that.
Not that anybody in the community would want to purposely make fish suffer, but
Right.
we do.
Yeah, so what job do you make me suffer on? What's the job? Everybody knows what job I don't like to play.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What job don't I like to play, Grady?
She hates fishing.
That's not true. I'm currently going for a title in Final Fantasy XIV that is catch all 249 big fish. And they're all up at different times of different days. And they're up for only like 5. They're up for anywhere from 1 to 20 minutes in real time for sometimes every 12 days. And even if you do everything right and you do all of the conditions needed to catch the fish, it may still get away. So I had a fish that I was tracking for a month and a half just because it was down for 24 days. And then I tried 3 separate windows and I didn't get it for a month and a half. And I tried it every window it was up for a month and a half and it wasn't up. And I finally got it. And then there's another one that's up every 12 days, but it's only up for a minute in real life. So you have to get there,
That's
prep,
ridiculous, yeah.
do everything. And you may get only like 4 or 5 casts in. And I got it on the last cast of my last window that I went to. And so I've been dragging all my friends with me to big fishing adventures. And a bunch of them have caught some of the fish I need in front of me. And it's really heartbreaking. But once you get all of the big fish in the game, you actually get a title that deems you big fish. So you have a big fish title over your name. So
Which
the meme in my community is because my Lalafel's name, like my character's name is BroFish, but my Lalafel's name is Small Fish. So my higher goal, just for the gremlin energy meme, is to have my character be Big Fish, Small Fish.
Which would be
and
perfect.
so I'm going through this hellscape of a fishing
red
grind.
Fish, blue fish.
2 months worth of
Cactuses.
grinding, possibly another 6 months. A friend of mine took a year to get big fish. That's how hard this is to get because of in-game windows and time. And so I want to be big fish, small fish, but I'm putting myself through the worst fishing depression of trying to get all these fish. Like I can see my timer in front of me. I have 3 fish that are up in 25 minutes that I've got to go get. And if they're not, like one's not up for another 8 hours, one's not up for another 9. So like they're up in real time because some of them are only up at certain times of the day in certain weather.
And I was gonna say it has to do with like the weather and like a whole like it's very
Like your
complicated from
weather,
what I've
like-
seen.
Like the in-game weather.
In-game, yeah.
Oh, the in-game weather.
So it's on the in-game clock, but on the
It'd be
in-game
so
weather.
meta.
But sometimes certain weather only
yourself.
shows up like once a week. So sometimes you're waiting for this weather condition during this time, but it may only be that weather once a week in real life, in-game. So it may take like 40 in-game days for it to be that weather again. So, and it has to be this weather going into that weather. So it's very picky. And then some of them are, you have to use this fish to mooch the other fish to then use that fish as bait to finally lure out the big fish. And you need specific skills and specific points to use to get those things. Then you could go through that
And then you
entire
can
prep
always
cycle and the
lose
fish
it.
doesn't
Basically,
bite
it's
at
real
all.
life.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so you go through that entire process, and the fish doesn't bite at all. Either that, or it bites, and it has a 50% chance to just get off the hook and run away.
Hmm.
And then
This
you have to
is my
start all
exact experience
over.
in real life.
It's actually
Yeah.
fish, yeah, just like normal fishing.
Yeah, no, it is like that. Also, to
Yeah.
answer chat, I actually really like playing Ninja. That's actually what I'm going to be playing in Eureka tonight when my group goes into Eureka, which is a whole other masochistic grind in itself. But I
What's
actually really like
Ninja?
Ninja.
What's Riot? You're talking about it. I don't know what this is.
Those
Well-
are the. Go ahead, you can explain it. I'm gonna look at
Well, I just
Sorry,
know
I'm looking up
Ninja.
something real
There's
quick.
I don't know what the Riot thing is about, but Ninja is a job in 14.
He said
Um,
Ninja or Riot, as in Ninja or Riot, like
What's a Riot?
Oh, Ninja or
like
we
when
will
people.
riot.
Yes.
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like-
Do Ninja or I thought it was choice also. And then I said, which one? I said, what? I asked a question. And then both. And
Ah.
like, both. So is it a Ninja Riot? Like a whole
I mean-
bunch of ninjas rioting? Talk
Oh,
about
I
I
figured
don't know.
Ninja and Riot. Like that's
the quietest
more fun.
riot ever. Or is it Riot Ninja? Like there's like particular ninja,
That's
I
so
mean-
bad, Anthony. I can't believe you just said that.
all of it.
So I wanted to
Quietest
bring
riot
it-
ever, really?
I want
It's
to
a
bring this up
all
before we
ninjas.
get to because we're starting to wrap up here. But I want to bring
Yeah.
this up.
Oh, right,
Fish
okay.
mentioned affiliate, and Anthony, you were asking about channel points. Fish, could you maybe give like an overview on how Twitch or even your progress of Twitch? Because Fish is a partner,
Mhm.
so
Yes.
claps. So maybe give a rundown of kind of what that means, what affiliate is for those that don't know.
Okay, so starting off, you make a Twitch channel, right? Then you're just what we call a streamer. So if you make a channel, you're a streamer.
That's us.
You don't have
That's
a
where
lot
we're
of
at.
features. Yeah, you don't have a lot of features. You're able to go live. You're able to get followers, but you're not able to monetize your channel. You may get ads on your channel, but they don't go to you. Basically everything that is on your channel that is monetized only goes to Twitch if you're a streamer. What affiliate allows, and in order to get affiliate, you need to have 150 followers, stream on 12 different days of the month, and have 3 concurrent viewers over the course of that month. And then you will receive an email inviting you to join the affiliate program. Once you join the affiliate program, you are given access to a sub button. You are given access to channel points. You're given access to ads. You're given access to, various things, emotes. And you're allowed a lot of different ways to personalize and customize your channel and make it more appealing brand wise to potential viewers. So it's an initial step. I would say that most streamers who stream on Twitch are at the affiliate level. Because as long as like a lot of people end up being affiliate on Twitch. Just over streaming, it is something that people tend to hit naturally over time, especially if they're streaming consistently on a semi-weekly basis or at least a few times a week. It's something that people tend to naturally hit, especially if they have friends that are watching their broadcasts. They get that 3 CCV. You can ask your mom or your dad or
Yep.
your friends at work to watch your stream, and over time, as long as you're consistent with it and you stream consistently over the course of that month, there's a good chance that you'll hit affiliate. And then after that, what you can do is you can move on to the process of applying for Twitch partnership. And what Twitch partnership is more of, do you think that you represent what Twitch is going for? Are you going to be a good brand representative? Are you going to behave in a manner that is constructive to being kind of an ambassador for Twitch? So the requirements for Twitch partner are a lot more. I believe the minimum streaming hours requirement is higher. I think you also still have to stream on at least 12 different days of the month. And the viewership average for your channel needs to be at least 75 concurrent viewers to apply.
I don't think I know that many people.
Yeah, and so at the time when I applied for partnership, my viewership was about 110 to 150, streaming Destiny 2. So I applied and I got it, actually about 2 years ago next week. So it'll be my 2-year partner anniversary soon. should probably do something for that.
That's
Probably should.
But it's
Yeah.
all. I also lump it in though with my birthday because my birthday was 3 days later. I got Twitch
It's-
partnership 3
today
days
is
before my
Fish's
birthday. It's not my birthday today. My birthday is August 2nd.
Today,
Happy
It's
birthday.
I
not-
can
not-
do. I'm a fish. This is my channel, Fish. It is
it's not-
Fish's birthday.
It's not. It's not my birthday.
Very
not my
running
birthday.
joke. Let's get Charlie B's in the chat.
Oh
for
my
Fish.
god, it's not my birthday. Anyway, so what partnership allows is you get more emotes, more control over your ads. You get more revenue from your tier 2 and your tier 3 subs. I just want to debunk the myth that partners inherently get more sub revenue from their tier 1 subs, because people seem to think that when you become affiliate, you suddenly don't get a 50-50 split from Twitch anymore. People think, oh, affiliates get 50-50 from their subs, right?
Mhm.
When you're a Twitch partner, you automatically get more from your tier 1 subs. That's false. Twitch partners still start out with a base contract of 50-50 on their tier 1 subs. The only
fake
thing
news,
that we get
people. Fake news.
the only thing that we get more of is we get 70 generally, like we get more of our tier 3 and tier 2s, which by and large are the least common of our sub tiers that we're
Mhm.
getting. So by and large, the majority of our revenue as Twitch partners does not change. So and people have this misconception that the second that you get Twitch partner, that you're good, you've made it. When in reality, the hardest work for you starts after you get Twitch partner, because you experience a lot of fall off from people who are just there to help you get partnership, and then they don't think that you need them anymore, so they leave.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people who are just there to help. You get people who kind of buy into like the starving artist fantasy of Twitch, where it's like, you're a partner now, you're no longer a starving artist.
Now
When in
you're
reality,
a millionaire.
most of the partners that I know make less money as partners than they did as affiliates. And
Yeah,
and
like,
there, I know a
Zod
lot
said
of
you get
partners.
a Lambo. I don't.
I know a lot of Twitch partners who wish that they could undo the fact that they got Twitch partner.
Yeah.
In terms of full-time streamers, people who stream full-time wish that they could go back to being an affiliate because they found that they were actually doing better financially when they were affiliates versus when they became Twitch partners. Because unfortunately, like I said, people think that you've made it, therefore they feel like you don't need their support anymore, and they think that the check mark comes with the expectation that you're making more money. When in reality, after I became a Twitch partner, 2 years later, I had to stop streaming full time because the monetary support just kind of trickled out to the point where I could no longer sustainably stream full time. Like, I got down to a point where I was making like $300 a month, which not
Wow.
enough to survive.
No.
And people don't talk about that side of streaming because streamers don't like to talk about money. Streamers
I think
don't like to talk about
no one
money
likes to
because
talk about money for some reason.
they worry that it's going to burn their viewers out, or it's going to
Yeah.
create an expectation of needing something. But like, as a Twitch partner, my sub count is the lowest it's been in almost 6 years.
Wow.
And
Felicia?
some of that is due to consistency and switching games. Like, I no longer stream Destiny 2, which was arguably a more popular game on Twitch, but I'm happier streaming Final Fantasy 14. And
Which is-
immensely grateful that as
yeah.
a part-time streamer, as many people are still subbed to my channel as are now, because it's still extra support that goes a long way towards me saving money and eventually
yeah.
paying for my move to the United States and helping out with day-to-day bills and everything. Like, it's still immensely helpful on top of my job, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, I still am immensely grateful. It's just gotten to a point where I'm not the kind of person who shills a lot for myself. Like, most of the time my viewers
what
have
your
to
mods
shill
are
more
for?
for me than
And
I
your
will shill for
viewers?
myself. So I never really expressed to my community in any way that I was hurting financially. So I kind of just let it happen. I kind of just let it get to the point where I naturally had to transition out of streaming because I just couldn't do it anymore. And honestly, you know, like, there will be people who are probably like, well, BroFish, why don't you stream as much? You know, like, we miss you. We wish you would come back to streaming full time. And it's like, I would love to continue streaming full time, but I can't do it if I'm facing the fact that I can't pay my rent. And as much as it
Yeah.
breaks
Yeah.
my heart to tell people, you know, I cannot feasibly do this full time anymore, I am also not going to sit here and go, hey, chat, I need more money to be able to stay full
Exactly.
time. That's not the type of person I am. And I've talked about this with Grady before. That's not the type of person that I am.
Mm-hmm.
It is not my viewers' responsibility to keep me full time. It is my responsibility to innovate and make content. And with me
Huh.
personally going through a lot this year with my
And it's
immigration situation and everything that's been going on, I just personally mentally wasn't able to do all of the things that I needed to do and grow and diversify as a creator. There were a lot of projects that I had that were left unfinished. There were a lot of games that I played that were left unfinished. And a lot of that was due to just burnout. And so my goal now with being a full-time receptionist and chiropractic assistant in a medical office is that I can get back to streaming just for fun. And if there's any revenue from that,
Right.
it's awesome and it's a wonderful side hustle and it's a wonderful like bonus. And it means that I don't have to stress about every single stream. Whether or not the income from my streams for the month is going to be enough to pay my bills, whether or not
Yeah.
I have to push more at the end of the month. Um whether or not you know, like you think about like some days you'll have streaming where you make $100 and quite frankly there are days streaming where you will put in the same amount of hours and make $2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fluctuation that people don't talk about of like just because you're a
Wow.
Twitch partner does not mean you're suddenly golden. You know, my viewership is a third of what it once was when I got partnered, you know? Like it's
Yeah, and
hard
that's
sometimes to not be hard on yourself and think that you've kind of fallen off. But, you know, you change as you grow as a streamer and
Yeah.
ultimately you learn who's there for the game and who's there for you. And it was hard in the beginning not to feel like I'd completely failed when I switched to Final Fantasy 14 full time, but I think honestly it's really taught me who in my life and who in my community is still really valuable to me because they just are there for me as a person. And it sucked at the time seeing all of the people who weren't and seeing all of the people who were like, we'll watch you play whatever you stream. We'll always be here for you. And then seeing probably close to 80 of those people never come back again.
and
And it's
that
really
that
easy to
would
think about it as a viewer number. But when you're someone like me, I don't see that as a viewer number. I see all of those numbers as real people. And so for me, it was really hard
exactly.
not to sit there and be like, 80 people just walked out of my life for good.
Yeah, and
But
I
it
feel
really
like that
has
would
shown me who's there for me, and I treasure those people more than anything.
yeah, I feel like that
So
I mean we're wrapping up here, but that would be you know, that's a good transition point into like imposter syndrome. So like
yeah,
we've talked about this on the show in the past quite often. But you know, even just listening to you and it's the imposter syndrome of, you know, I could be doing more or whatever it is creeping into people's heads about you know, not feeling like they are where they should be, let's say.
hmm
And yet, you know, a lot of us look at you or streamers in general as, you know, people look up to as far as what we would like to progress towards.
hmm
You know, so I think while numbers can be down for now, I think you seem to be happier streaming Final Fantasy,
hmm
and you seem to be a little happier as far as not having to stress as much about financials lately.
yeah, like knowing that I'll go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the other thing is knowing that you're being paid fairly for the amount of effort that you're putting into your work is the other
And
nice
consistently.
thing. Like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, like over the last 3 years of streaming full time, I've kind of forgotten what it's like to actually be paid hourly.
Yeah.
And so for me, for the first like month or like month on my job, it was weird for me to go to work and be like, I'm here for 5 hours. I'm making 5 hours worth of income. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
yeah.
have to think about that. And that was a foreign concept to me
Yeah.
as someone who streamed full time for 3 years. Like,
It'll
no
get
matter
your
what
attention.
happens, no matter what I do today, if I show up and I put the amount of hours in that I need to put in, I'm gonna make this amount of money. And that was something that was like I hadn't experienced in a really long time. So
Which
it was
a lot of
nice,
us
and
don't
it's more
think about that.
secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as
And
someone
it's
who's
nice
worked
to know that,
salary
like,
for a long
yeah,
time, I don't
it's
think
nice to
about
know
that.
that you're not gonna work like 45, 60 hours a week. Because sometimes there are times as streamer when you're editing and whatnot where you're doing like
Mhm.
60, 70-hour weeks, and you don't have to worry about doing a 60 to 70-hour week and making $40, you know,
Yeah.
and it's something that people don't talk about often. And
And
I
in
wish
fact,
that,
we talk about the opposite.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah. And there's some streamers that, go 10 hours a day every day or 24 hours
yeah,
every other day. There's people that put in a lot of
and may stream to like
more
5
hours than we do.
people.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, to be
So, like,
paid consistently and fairly for that is
a rarity.
yeah. So
Like
it's nice having
1%
that
of
income that at
streamers.
least you are having that consistency, because yeah, I don't know what I would do with that
Yeah, and you
without
know
like a
me, like,
consistent
I used to talk about it with you a lot of
Mhm.
like, I don't know if I'm gonna be okay this month.
Yeah, and it's
You
like,
know,
well,
and I like owe a lot of my continuing to be able to stream, honestly, to you and to a lot of my other dedicated supporters, because there were months where, like, were it not for your generosity, were it not for you trying to scare the crap out of me with my alerts, or trying to like break the fish, as we called it, where
we do.
those like
You'll learn about
moments,
those with
yeah,
the
those like moments of like break the fish or make the
mhm.
fish cry, like those were literally the difference of me being able to pay my rent versus not every month.
Yeah,
And
when
so
you
like it seemed like a grand occasion, like probably to the viewers, where they were like, "Oh my god, she's making so much money."
yeah.
But for me it was like, this is literally the difference between me being able to pay my bills, so thank you. Like,
And
and
Anthony,
it
you were
was
asking about channel
necessary.
points, and that's similar. There's when one person what did you can when you do a sub, a um, bits, and was it 3 people have to do it, you get a hype train going,
Yeah.
and then usually that helps trickle a lot more people that are just like throwing subs out there to keep the hype train going. Also, obviously to
Yeah,
support the
and you
the
get more
streamer,
channel points when you're sub too,
yeah.
which
So
also helps with that.
and there's a BTTV add-on that collects your channel points for you while you're not at while I'm listening. It'll collect my channel points for me instead of me having to click the button every time.
Hmm.
So it'll just collect them all day. And then when you get those, you'll have a little hype bar redemption. You get up to like a level 5, but it keeps going up the more that I think it's 3 people have to start it, and then the more people that donate bits or subs or whatever, it keeps going up, and then you end up getting some emotes based off how high the community
Yeah,
was
like
able to
whether
get the
it's a
hype
level
chain.
1 to
Mhm.
level 5, and each one has different categories of emotes as well. So like level 1 has emotes, level 2 has
Mhm.
emotes, level 5 has its own unique emotes as well, and
I feel like I have them all. Oh, I just saw
probably
Cave.
at this point, probably.
Cave. I
Yeah.
didn't see Cave in here. Sorry. Yeah. But we're wrapping up. I know you have fish to get to, and I
fish
have
to fry.
fish to
Yeah,
fry.
it's not so much fish, it's other stuff, but
Well, that's fine too.
my fishing's probably done for the night. But yeah, I've got a date with some other friends of mine tonight, so.
Very
But
nice.
it was nice to finally get on here. I know we've been
Yeah.
talking about this for a really long time, and it's
Mhm.
honestly just nice to like reconnect with you and get
Yeah.
to chat more, because I know we're both dealing with a lot in real life right now, so it's just
Yeah.
really, really nice to be able to have that time with you, and to meet you guys as well, and it was a pleasure to meet you guys and
Yeah, thanks for
and get
coming
to
on
be
the show.
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, if you guys ever want like another guest, like if there's a chance for me to come on with my
We would
normal
love to have
face,
you back.
I can do that too. Like I mean, I've been around the streaming scene for 6 years. I've seen a lot in terms of growth and tech and just things in this industry as well. So if there's any other topics that you guys want to talk about too, like I'd be happy to come back and talk about those as well.
Yeah,
That
I
sounds
feel
great.
like we can definitely, we'll definitely love to have that happen again. You know,
Mhm.
you can be our first and fourth. You know, whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, we
absolutely.
wanna wrap up here and get everybody off to their real lives. And but yeah, I thank you so much for coming on, being our first guest.
Yeah, anytime.
And
Happy to be
chat,
here.
thank you for hanging out with us. Great seeing some
Big
new
turnout.
people,
Big turnout
and
tonight.
make sure you smash that follow, and then go to Fish's channel and do the same. And yeah, we will be back next week. As far as I know, there are no plans for not being here, but if there are, make sure you go follow our Twitters, which are
Yeah, and thanks to all of my folks who came out tonight.
Mhm.
Whether you're lurking or talking in the audience, anybody from my stream and my community that came out tonight. Appreciate
yeah.
you guys supporting my friend and his podcast, and
Very much appreciated. And I actually have someone that we're gonna raid here.
yeah,
It's the Average Guy TV. They do a podcast on
nice.
home gadget geeks, is what they're kind of going over right now. So trying to find more and Fish, you might be able to help me with this off stream at some point. Some more channels around this time that kind of fit the genre of what we're going for. So I don't know if you have any
Like in
people
terms
that
of the podcasting and the tech sphere, is that what you mean?
just in
The
general, yeah,
IT
someone
tech,
we'd be
yeah.
able to to be rating that may be closer to our internal, more social group.
Yeah, I mean,
That
it's
makes
not a
sense.
space on Twitch that I'm like intricately familiar with, but I can definitely look around and see some things, and we can always discuss it later too,
Yeah.
and see.
All right. Well,
Absolutely.
again, thank you. And I am Grady. Got Anthony, Lee, and of course our wonderful guest BroFish. And we will catch you all next week.
Bye.
Not
See ya.
everybody.